But I love that story because it captures this whole picture of, what we tell ourselves and how we perceive ourselves relative to others, for better or worse, does play into our perception of how we're doing, right? I mean, when I was in college, they would put up in those days, they'd put up a piece of paper and then show you the distribution of scores, the curve, and you'd see your number and,
compare it.
Yeah, and if you happen to land, the far end of the distribution and the good side, you're like, whoa, like that told you something relative to the pack. And if you didn't, if you're at the other end of the distribution, that also told me something about my performance relative to the pack. We come to an understanding of who we are, what we did, and what we're capable of, in part through an understanding of who's winning and who's losing. I mean, I think Goggins was talking about SEAL team training again. And other people have talked about that, every time they hear the bell, they talk about, like taking souls and that kind of thing. And it's pretty foreign concept, I think, to folks like me who are, I'm in a field where, sure, it's competitive, but it's not like that, where you're looking for people to drop out. But certainly when I was a postdoc, it was super competitive. I was a postdoc at Stanford, and, and you see people in your lab getting great papers, and that actually excites you because you're like, oh, like people are, what's possible. So there's that kind of rising tide raises all boats kind of thing. But when it's competitive, like in a foot race, and there's one winner, even the smallest notion of somebody being ahead of you or falling behind you, that can be a really powerful psychological driver of then the physiology of your body. That reward system, it's those catecholamines